traditional Western countries which appear to be fatigue, donor fatigue is setting in, and for that reason we are not getting much from those countries. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as you see in your shots, is just arriving here at the Jubilee Lounge at the Kotoka International Airport. The President, as soon as he arrives, will be witnessing the parade formed by the Air Force Regimental Band, which will be performing. Then the President will take the necessary protocols before he walks into the private jet, which has been put at his service by the authorities in Dubai. I can tell you that Ghana has regained its image in the global community, especially after the election of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You recall that during his inauguration, we had over 45 presidents and senior officials from various countries who, so I'll come back to that. So you see the Vice President who has just received His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The two are very good friends. The President has much respect for the Vice President. He has consistently described as somebody who is a pillar behind him, giving him all the inspiration, and being the first female president. The two, especially because they gel, have been governing this country, and we have all seen the results. But let's wait briefly and listen to the formalities to be presented by the Air Force Regimental Band, and then we come back to the conversation.
Show that us. Date us. Galafona, stand at ease.
And so His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Vice President are having tete-a-tete. If the President leaves the country, the Vice President becomes the acting President according to the dictates of our Constitution. And so as the President is leaving, Her Excellency Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang will be holding the fort. So the two leaders are having the last bits of conversations and what the President perhaps may be instructing her to do. So there in your shot you have officials from the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies, the Deputy Defense Minister taking his turn to have a handshake with the President, and there it continues with the Chief of Staff at the Office of the Vice President, Chief of Staff Julius Debrah, as we know, a very jovial, very smart man who the President believes is also going to be covering his back, shoulder to shoulder from the Vice and the Chief of Staff. But Kweku, let me continue with some information that Randy spoke about. You were asking me the significance of this visit, and more so what the world community has to say or perceive about our president, who is just about entering this special flight which has been put at the service of our president by the authorities in Dubai. And so the president has just entered the flight. The president, according to what we have gathered, is somebody who has walked the talk, has demonstrated the respect he's earning from the international community. This respect and admiration for his visionary leadership and the series of bold, influential speeches has been delivered since his re-election, particularly focusing on reforming global governance, advocating for Africa's interest on the international market. You talked about the Accra reset. Don't forget that he was at the Munich Security Conference, where he spoke strongly about Africa's health sovereignty. He was at the 80th UN General Assembly meetings in September, where he advocated for a reform of global systems, including the UN, to better reflect the current realities, specifically calling for a permanent African seat on the UN Security Council. Again, he has highlighted African global importance. And so at Dubai, we expect the president to highlight the major economic gains over the past year, the CD, the strength we have in our economy, the investor confidence. But see, United Arab Emirates is known as one of the wealthy countries. So for the authorities to put this plane at the pleasure of our president to fly to Dubai, and of course to also chauffeur him to Zambia, will tell you how they value who he is. This is a man who, even before the AU chairmanship position is handed over, Economic Community of West African States, the foreign ministers overwhelmingly voted to endorse President Mahama as the sole candidate for the chairmanship position of the African Union, which was backed by the president of ECOWAS countries. So President Mahama stands tall. In his first term in office, I believe he did a lot that many African countries believe. And so at this stage, he is rubbing shoulders with many world leaders, and he has spoken extensively on many issues across the globe, beyond Ghana, looking at issues in Africa, looking at Sudan. Don't forget, Ghana has demonstrated comradeship. Just recently, we donated our widow's mite to Jamaica, to those countries in the Caribbean which were battered by storm. We've seen Ghana demonstrating same to African countries which are plagued by war. And so, beyond the rhetorics, he is walking the talk, doing things that is gaining the admiration. And in these days that everything you do in any small corner, it is all over the world, I believe that that is what is giving him that respect. When he spoke at Davos, the Accra reset, you would recall that that was a very powerful statement. And so we expect that in Dubai, our president will make a powerful statement. And when he goes to Zambia, and Zambia, he'll be addressing the parliament, he'll be having bilateral talks, and there will be another economic summit that he'll be attending. So all these will project Ghana on the global front.
No, you are right.
Yes, obviously. I believe that after the summit in Dubai, we should have some bilateral talks on the sidelines of this event, which will translate into some agreements to be announced later. So we can only wait for what will happen at this event. This president has big initiatives. The big push, industrializing our country with agriculture as the base, where they are planning to develop the Volta Basin, tap water to irrigate the arable land within the enclave around the Volta Lake. of course, industrializing Ghana, and embarking on massive infrastructure projects in the road sector, in the health sector, education, etc. So our president obviously is looking for where he can get people who believe in Ghana, who of course will have been following his achievements, and it will make it an easy push for him. So the president is inside the plane as we speak. The Air Force band is marching off. The government officials led by the vice president, who will now be acting as soon as the president leaves the shores of this country, are waiting to see the plane take off before they also depart. So I can say that the program or the brief ceremony to see off our president officially is ended. Let's listen briefly to the band as they march off, and then we wrap up. Randy.
Go!